Let us discuss how mathematics can describe real pictures. I'm talking about the pictures that fill the field of vision as we look out on the real world. Think of one frozen in time, like a photograph, but in the mind's eye. How do we describe these colourful pictures? They are seemingly more complex than triangles and fern images. Real pictures are very special, very particular. They are very far from random. Real pictures are rich in details and textures. The bark on that tree, the coruscations on the cloud and the ripples on the water. How would you describe your vision to a person who had lived all of his life in a dark cave, with no knowledge of the banks of trees, the sunlit rivers and the sky? What special properties do pictures have?
Real pictures usually contain edges. Here is an edge of the tree line. Here's the edge of a sawtooth palmetto leaf. And here's the edge of the water. Pictures also contain smooth regions, like the clear sky, the white of a flat cloud, or still water. And lastly, there are textures. Mud textures, lichen textures, tree textures. To precisely describe these edges, smooth regions and textures, imagine a picture on the Euclidean plane with all of its colours painted on it. It's stretchable, like the skin of a balloon. Suppose that our transformer can pick up a colourful copy of what is in a region of the picture and shrink and move the region. Any picture can be modelled with transformers like these.
First, an edge. Here, this edge of rock and sky. This transformer picks it up, transforms it and puts it back. We can make all of the edges like this. The edges are transforms of themselves. Now this smooth piece here, look at the blue so steady and bright. Using a transformer, let us take a part of the blue and shrink it down. It superimposes almost perfectly on part of the sky. The sky is made of transforms of itself. Look at this part of a rock. It is smooth too, and looks like a special transform of itself.
We use our special transformers to make copies of textures and then move them around in a real picture. The texture of this sand is transformed to this one, then to this one, and to this one. Look at this tree trunk. It's like this one, and this one. And this petal is like this one, and this one.
Putting all this together, suppose that we have got the transformers for a butterfly picture. Then we can use them to make a mathematical picture. Imagine a magical photocopy machine. It works on colourful Euclidean plane substance instead of paper. Put any colourful picture on top, any one you like. All of the transformers that we kept go to work on it. Each part of the transformed picture comes from somewhere in the one on top of the copier. Now take the picture that comes out of the copier and put it back on top. Then make a specially transformed copy of it. Then put that copy on top and make a copy of it. And again, and repeat forever. The result, created on the colourful Euclidean plane, is a unique mathematical picture, a model of the original from which we got the transformers.
The final picture is always the same. It's described precisely, uniquely specified by the transformers and them alone. Like the right-angled triangle, only this time it's a full colour picture that can be magnified endlessly. It belongs to the realm of unchanging forms. It is made by mimicking the functioning of our brains.
What we have just done is make an intuitive description of a theorem. It enables us to make mathematical pictures whose relation to real pictures is analogous to the relation of the mathematical fern to a real fern. But when you actually examine a real photograph closely, you find it is made of printed dots or chemical emulsion. Indeed, it is not possible to capture pictures of the physical observable universe at infinite resolution. When we try to look very closely at reality, we can no longer see details because of the finite wavelength of light and the trembling of the atoms.
Even if our pictures of reality are fuzzy, the human mind is still able to produce images of far higher resolution than those physically recorded by the retina. What are the factors that limit the resolution of the images sent from our eyes to our brains?
There are three possible factors limiting the resolution of the eye. That is the quality of the image received at the back of the eye. One is that it's the quality of the image provided by the lens and the cornea. The other would be that it's actually limited by the wave nature of light in the same way that a telescope, the resolution of a telescope is limited. And the third is that it might be limited by the separation and size of the photoreceptors which pick up the image. For example, if I see a person far away in a field, I know it's a man, and I know he has two eyes. I can perhaps make out a vague indication that he's not mutilated in some way. So I know he's got all the details there. So I think I see him with two eyes and 5 fingers and so on, even though there's no way in which one could deduce that he has 5 fingers and 2 eyes from the actual details of the image. We are constantly filling in details from past experience to complete the incomplete evidence of our current experience.
So what is a real physical picture? In the end, it is in the mind, for it is there that we see. We see the world one way, insects see it another, and artists in yet other ways. A bee can see ultraviolet, and flowers look very different to them. A dragonfly sees with a compound eye, like lots of little eyes, and the visions of artists are amazing. Is reality glowing light as Turner saw it? My point is this: in the end, our pictures of reality depend on our own consciousness. So what can we say precisely and carefully about that?
We often think we see details in an image when in fact we're supplying these with our brain. For example, I look over there and I see a tree with lots of fine leaves on it, but when I look back, I still see the leaves, even though the quality of the image in the periphery of the field of vision is nowhere near good enough to enable me to see those leaves now, but I still see them. My brain is filling in the details from past experience and from what it knows is there.
The mysteries of vision and consciousness are linked. Can mathematics explain the inner world wherein we are aware of mathematical pictures, abstraction, love, and poetry?
If you take me apart, you will find that I'm made up of, well, ultimately quarks and gluons and electrons. But of course you would have destroyed me by the act of taking me apart. So I'm very much more than just a collection of quarks, gluons, and electrons, though from the point of view of an elementary particle physicist, which is what I am, that's how I would think about myself. But there's much more to me than that. Just as there's much more to a beautiful picture, for example, than just a collection of specks of paint of known chemical composition. We can learn lots of interesting things by taking things apart, but there are many things that we can only learn by looking at things in their wholeness, in their totality.
The very phenomenon of consciousness is something like this too, that you cannot reduce it to the behavior of a lot of individual units. There's something holistic about the way that it operates. There's something holistic involved in consciousness.
Actually, science still has no description of what consciousness is or how it works. There certainly is no mathematical theory of it.
Human consciousness is a sort of transcending element of human beings. We're part of the physical world, but we're more than that. Pascal once said that we are thinking reeds. We are just tiny, insubstantial things compared to the stars, but we are greater than the stars because we know them and ourselves, and they know nothing. So consciousness is pointing us in the direction that there is more to the world than simply the physical world that science describes. And I think if we push that thought further, that leads us to the idea of a divine mind and a divine purpose that is behind all that rich, many-layered experience.
There seems to be a very deep union between mathematics and the physical world. Now, as a mathematician, I tend to view mathematics as something which is out there, absolute, independent of ourselves, yet we have access to it with our understanding, our mental abilities. And that again is a mystery, how it is we have somehow access to this world, this absolute world, timeless world, independent of ourselves, which somehow has been governing the way the physical world operates long before there were any human beings around.
As we study the physical world, we see a world of great rational beauty, rational transparency, a world shot through with signs of mind, one might say. And to me, it's a very attractive explanation that there is indeed the capital M mind of God the Creator that lies behind that wonderful rational beauty.
So you see, when we try to get to the bottom of what reality is, we end up with the mystery of our own minds.